Hi, my name is Julia Hendricks, and I'm a CLE coach facilitator. In this presentation, we will explore the ladder of inference, a tool for understanding decision making and how our beliefs are formed and influence our actions. The ladder of inference is a tool for analyzing decision making by both individuals and groups. The individual steps in the ladder are observe, select, meaning, assumptions, conclusions, beliefs, and actions. Let's break down each step. The lowest rung of the ladder is observable data and experiences. Think about this as a camera view. We see things and we do not apply meaning to them. We simply note them. Next, from what we have observed, we select data that we want to focus on, and then we add meaning to the data we select. From that meaning that we've given to the data, we begin to make assumptions about the individual situation that we're looking at, but we also begin to make assumptions about the world. We draw conclusions from our assumptions. And then from these conclusions, we adopt beliefs about the world. Finally, we take action based on our beliefs. There are really two big ideas about the ladder of inference that you should take with you. First, an important part of the ladder of inference is this reflexive loop, this arrow that is going from beliefs to select. One of the things that can happen to us when we are working and looking at data is because of beliefs that we have about the world or about the situation that we are in, we might go select data that supports those beliefs. It's always important when you're looking at data to begin on the very bottom of the ladder of inference at the observation stage without selecting particular data. Another key idea is you can begin anywhere on this ladder. For instance, I might have the assumption that children who read at home enjoy reading more. And from that, I might draw the conclusion that sustained reading, which requires enjoyment of reading, requires reading at home where you learn to enjoy, which may go to the belief that if you're going to be successful at sustained reading, you need to have a strong reading life at home. And additionally, if you were unsuccessful at sustained reading in school, maybe you do not have a strong reading life at home. And then I could take actions based on that belief I've just made. However, another option is for me to once again begin with this assumption that children who read at home enjoy reading more and ask myself, what is the data that I gave meaning to that led me to that assumption? And then I can ask myself, I might have selected some data to apply meaning to, but was there other data that I did not select? Furthermore, maybe there is data that I need that I don't even have access to at this point. So you can start at the middle of the ladder and work yourself up to actions, or you can ask yourself when you're starting in one of these middle places, is there other data that I did not select? Do I need more data to test my assumption? When we move through the ladder of inference quickly, we may end up ignoring data that impacts our decisions. Here's another example of an eighth grade student. We have an eighth grade student who we are talking about in a team meeting, and this is the data we have. They have a lot of tardies. They do not hand in homework. The student participates in class, raises their hand, contributes to group work, completes work that is assigned. They're a multilingual learner who's been in the school district for 5 years, participate in after-school activities 2 to 4 times each week, have 4 younger siblings, and a mother and father who have limited or no English proficiency. What we see is a student who is late frequently, not handing in homework, but is participating in class fully when they are in class, and participates in after-school activities 2 to 4 times each week. So the meaning that we make and the assumptions that we have may be that this is a student who thinks of school as a social place and isn't all that interested in learning because they're capable of doing the work and they just aren't unless they're in school doing it. So they don't see learning as something that's important for them outside of school. Believing that the student does not think learning is important will inform the actions that we take. We may provide academic support for the student, replacing 2 electives each week so they can get their homework done. We may decide to have an earn program for after-school activities. If the student completes 3 out of 5 days of homework each week, they can go to other after-school activities. The big idea I want you to take away from here is slow down along the ladder. Try to avoid that reflexive loop. And if you find yourself starting in the middle of the ladder at assumptions, think about what data do I see that supports my assumptions and what data do I not see?